The Russian army in Ukraine apparently is shifting a third of its forces in eastern Ukraine to southern Ukraine in order to defend against Ukrainian attacks in the south. But that's exposing gaps in Russian defenses in the east. And now the Ukrainian army reportedly is exploiting those gaps, especially around Sloviansk and Izium, hitting the Russians where they aren't. In pressing these attacks, however, the Ukrainians risk overextending their own forces. Ukrainian forces are likely taking advantage of the redeployment of Russian forces away from the Sloviansk axis and conducted localized counterattacks to regain ground southwest of Izium and northwest of Slovian. The purported Ukrainian counteroffensive around Izium, reportedly involving the 93rd Brigade and other units, at best has liberated a few villages such as Dibrovne, Mazanivka, and Dmytrivka. But the eastern counteroffensive belies what ISW described as a more profound shift in Russia's wider war in Ukraine, which began in late February. Ukraine's preparations for the counteroffensive in Kherson and the initial operations in that counteroffensive, combined with the dramatic weakening of. It's an open question, however, whether the Ukrainian army has the resources to sustain this momentum. It's clear how we got here. Russia went to war in Ukraine with too few troops to achieve its aims. Just 125 battalion tactical groups, each with 800 or so soldiers and divided between four main efforts, capturing Kyiv in the north, Kharkiv in the northeast, the free portions of Donetsk and Luhansk Oblasts in the east and the entirety of Ukraine's Black Sea coast. But the Ukrainian army fought hard. Ukraine's allies offered up intelligence as well as tens of billions of dollars worth of modern weaponry. After a month, Russia's offensives around Kyiv and Kharkiv and along the Black Sea coast ground to a halt. The Kremlin in late March pulled its troops away from Kyiv and paused attacks around Kharkiv and the half-occupied coast, shifting more than half its remaining battalions east to complete the occupations of Donetsk and Luhansk. By early August, the Russian army was spent. It had buried no fewer than 15,000 of its best troops and written off thousands of its best tanks, fighting vehicles and artillery. Those troops and vehicles that were left were concentrated in the east. Russian authorities hastily organized a recruitment drive to form a few new battalions, but planned to deploy them to the front after just a month of training.